Okay.
What are you doing?
Now,
And we're back.
somebody pick it back up from Tum Kerem all the way through Saxo. I know we kind of hacked those lines apart. Make that sound smooth. Bring that back together, whole thing. I start off with Tum Fessi Relu. Daniel.
Can I say instead of the Trojans?
Yep.
And the Trojans, tired of things, bring out grain or carrots, spoiled by the waves, and zero weapons. And they prepare both to roast with fire and to break on a rock they recovered grain.
Beautiful. Very nice. Aeneas, scopulenteria conscendit et omnem prospectum late pelago petit. So Achates is taking care of the men, right? Getting food, basic stuff. Now, where's our hero? Aeneas, interia, meanwhile, scopulum conscendit. He climbs or he mounts a scopulum, a cliff. He climbs a cliff. And omnem prospectum late pelago petit.
And looking at it.
Yeah, let's get petit. Let's make petit parallel to conscendit. Climbs the cliff and he petit.
Looks out.
Seeks, right? True, there's looking out going on, but I keep a little more literal there. I think it helps. He seeks the omnem prospectum. Seeks omnem prospectum. The entire view, late, widely on the pelago. On the synonym for mare. On the sea.
Wait, what does archipelago come from?
Yeah, you said.
What's an archipelago?
It's a series of small islands, right? It's like Greece.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
It's not the island, it's the referendum.
Oh, that's weird. Why do they do that? So like
That is over there.
So what does Argo?
I'm going to keep going because we're
Yeah.
just a little bit behind, but seriously.
Oh, yeah,
Show us.
Always a little behind.
Show us. Now, Aeneas, right, he's got to get a perspective. So he climbs a rock so he can look out. Si anthea si quem jactatum vento videat. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff here. All right. Si videat. If he should videat. If he should see. We've got a present subjunctive here. Okay? And so he's going up, he's looking out, and just on the off chance, right? Just in case he should see. And remember the other day we talked about si nisi numen ne. After si nisi numen ne, Ali takes a holiday. So this quem here is not just quem, it is aliquem.
So that.
If he should see aliquem anthea. Some guy named Antheus. Okay? Now, we're going to get some names here as over the next few lines. And when Latin says something like aliquis and a person's name, when he says aliquis or Latin says aliquis in a person's name, it's not like he's just looking for anybody named Antheus. You know, I'm looking for some guy named Antheus. Is there an Antheus out there? You know, it's not that. But it just kind of heightens this indefinite sense. He is looking for Antheus, but he has no idea if he's going to see him or not. Okay? He goes up there to see if he should see Antheus. Jactatum vento. What kind of Antheus? Antheus is one of his friends.
Thrown by the wind.
Thrown or tossed around by the wind. And all these accusatives are hanging off of videat. And he's going up there to see if he should see the Phrygias Biremes. Biremes. Okay, what's a bireme? All right, remus means oar. Okay?
The broken side of the ship.
So, there's nothing that's broken here. Okay? So there's our ships, right? And ships have sails, but they also have banks of oars. And if you had two banks of oars, that was called a bireme.
Okay.
And it went all the way up to quinquereme. You could have 5 banks of oars. Obviously, 5 banks of oars is definitely a warship. You're going to have a lot of speed there, a lot of force, and a lot of power. Okay? Yes?
Wouldn't there be, if you're
They gotta be long. Yeah, there's longer oars. He's looking out there, just by chance there's Antheus, tossed around by the waves out there. Or maybe he's looking over here for Phrygias Beremis. Okay, Phrygian. Now, Phrygia, where's Phrygia? That's a synonym basically for Trojan.
It's
Okay?
Asia
Asia Minor, exactly right. Okay? So when we talk, he's got lots of names. Rarely does he call the people the Greeks, right? He's going to call them Argives. He's going to call them Danians. He's going to refer to them by some geography. He's going to refer to them by some person. Same thing for the Trojans. He sometimes calls them Dardanians after a Trojan king. Sometimes he's going to call them Phrygians after this general area of Asia Minor. He's looking for his own ships. He's looking for Phrygian biremes. Or maybe he's over here looking for Capys. That's another one of his friends. Or over here, and again, notice the out and the out. Same thing with the sea and the aliquem. This is all vague. The overwhelming impression here is of vagueness. He doesn't expect anything. He's just by chance. Any possibilities? Or anybody out there? Maybe Antheus, maybe Capys, maybe see a couple ships out there. Maybe I might recognize and see the arma, the weapons of his friend Caicus on the Chalcis Pupillus.
Okay.
Capital C-A-I-C-U-S.
C-A-I-C-U-S.
Yes.
Also, you
On the
missed,
high-
you missed the Pink Floyd reference.
I did.
Is there anybody out there?
There. Hello. Anybody out there?
Come on.
Not if you.
Very good. I'm sorry. I exactly. Yes.
Get
Yes.
with
That's it.
All the time.
I don't think I would be comfortable in saying that Aeneas had become comfortably numb. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
I don't
know.
think that's quite what's going on. But there you have it. Now, notice the specificity. Okay. Aeneas isn't just looking for general stuff, but he knows his men. And I go back to Caesar. If you can go back 2 years, those of you who had me for second year Latin, Caesar knew his men. He knew them by name. This is part of what endeared him to them as a leader. And remember that episode of Bracte, where Caesar was going to order cavalry charge, but he wanted to make sure that the men didn't run away. So what's he do? He gets off his own horse. He says, I'm not going to have a horse either. I'm going to endure the same level of danger as you men. I'm not going to send you to do something that I wouldn't do. And I think you see that right away here with Aeneas. He's looking for his individual people. There's Caicus, there's Capys, there's Antheus. He's looking for his ships. And especially the arma Caicus, right? He knows what Caicus wears. He knows his distinctive armor. And he's looking for that. He knows his men. The other thing is, as shorthand and easy way of talking about the American Civil War as it is to talk about the South and the North, the North works okay, but to say the South is contrary to what the whole South was about. What was the Confederacy really fighting about? States' rights. And so when you talk about Robert E. Lee leading those forces, well, he was really the commander of the armies of Northern Virginia. In fact, you see on his battle standards and so forth, you see ANV, Army of Northern Virginia. That was the unit that he commanded. Now he ended up helping to lead all the others as well. But every state had their own units. And they flew under their own flags, or marched under their own flags. If you ever watch, it's a good movie, Gettysburg, you'll see all these guys looking the same, all these gray coats against all these blue coats. Well, that's convenient for a movie. But in actual fact, these guys were all different. Same thing in the ancient world. Very much it was the individual city-states, right? Sparta had its own, had that big red lambda on the shield. Individual guys might have had a very individualized armor. And the Trojans weren't just this monolithic Trojan army. They had guys coming in from surrounding areas. And so he might well have recognized Caicus's armor because it was different from everybody else's. Okay?
It's like an Avatar where they got tribes from all over the place.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, wouldn't this also complicate
I feel like they
things?
got more. So
Just like it did, like,
Yeah,
Sure.
you get
Civil War.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
who are
give-
you?
give-
I think it was
Yes.
one tribe.
Yes, it definitely helps to have everything,
Nine
you know,
thousand.
lined up. Okay. Nomen conspectu nullam, tris litera ceros prospicit errantes. Now this is interesting. What does he see and what does he not see? He prospicit nullam navem.
He looks out
He looks out at nullam navem.
at nothing. Oh, wait, no, that's not.
At no navem.
No shit.
No ship. He's looking. Prospicio. Nothing. He sees no ship in the conspectu.
In the view?
In view or in sight. However, now the next best thing, he does see tres cervos errantes litere.
3 deer.
He sees 3 deer. Errantes litere.
Word.
Erro errare.
Running?
Love it.
Wandering, good. Wandering on the litere. On the shore. Okay. What has he found? Dinner. Yes. Okay. Dinner on the hoof. Okay. He sees 3, catches sight of 3 deer wandering on the shore. Now this, I love this, a really wonderful passage. Host tota armenta sequuntur a tergo, et longum per vales pascator augment. Okay. He sees these 3 deer wandering around. And look what's behind them. Tota armenta sequitur hos a tergo. The whole herd, a whole flock of deer. We don't have flocks of deer.
It's herds of
Flocks
deer.
of velociraptors. I don't think we have flocks of deer.
It's herds of deer.
I don't think. A whole gaggle of deer. No, that's not right.
Is it herd though?
It's going to be herd.
It's a herd. It's a pot.
It's
A
a
pot
herd.
of deer.
It's not a pot of
Yeah, it
deer.
is.
I
Just
don't
It is
think-
not a
just
pot
like
of deer.
this.
Deer.
It's a herd.
I thought it was like domesticated animals.
What? No, a herd of buffalo.
Oh,
Buffalo
it's
are
100%
domesticated.
sure it's flock.
Huh?
Let's look this up. I guarantee it's flock.
It's not a flock.
It's not flock, it's herd. Anyhow,
I can Google it.
there's a big old mess of deer sequuntur
Following.
following from the tergo,
Goodbye.
from the back. Now, I don't know how you follow from the front. I'm not sure Virgil wasn't padding the line there. They're following from the back.
Where are they walking
Well,
backwards?
you can, like, you know, like, do like, it's like, you know, when you tail someone by the car, like, with using cars, you can go in front of them and just, like, watch them from your rear view.
I don't know.
You know, super. You guys never done
I don't
that?
know.
Okay.
You might have noticed the stock.
I don't know.
Well, obviously Daniel's a spy kid, but I'm imagining these deer and they're like, are they still leading this way? Oh, no, they're going that way. We better get in front of them this way. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like a race car.
it could be. All right, look, you're trying to give Virgil credit. All right, that's fine.
Yes,
Okay,
trying to
that's
help the
good.
man out.
You're trying to help a man
Suck
out.
up.
And this longum augmen, this long augmen,
And this long.
that's a word we should know. Augmen is the column of soldiers on the march.
Oh, dang it.
Remember, Achies is the battle line, and the column is the guys on the march. And that's what it looks like to Aeneas. It's almost like you've got this bunch of deer soldiers marching onward after their 3 leaders. This long column is pascatur per valles, is grazing through the valleys. He constated he stopped. He stopped here. He corripuit his arc, grabbed his bow with his mono. Again, what's he going to do? Shoot with his feet? He grabbed his bow with his hand and his celeres sagittas, his quick arrows. Weapons quae, weapons which Thedos Achates gerebat, which faithful or loyal Achates was gerebat, was carried. Now I don't know how Achates got from stoking the fire to now he's with Aeneas. Apparently Achates, I guess you're led to believe he got the fire going and then he took off with Aeneas. He doesn't quite connect that.
It's like
Well,
Spidey
how is that like a
Force.
meanwhile sort of situation?
Yeah, it's not. It's a little, yeah. But he's very, very quiet. He sees the deer. He's like,
Gimme, 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 gimme.
yeah. Very silently takes aim. And ductores ipsos primum capita alta ferentes cornibus arboreae sternit. This guy is going to be on the cover of Field and Stream. What does Aeneas do? He sternit. Love this verb. Love this verb.
He lays low.
He lays low. That's a great verb. He just lays low. The ductores ipsos.
The leader.
The leaders themselves. He goes after the big bucks at the head of the herd.
No, it's awesome.
He goes after them. He laid them out primum
Very gross.
first. Now, anybody who's a hunter is going to really appreciate this next line and a half here. These big bucks who were ferentes their capita alta.
Held their heads high.
Who were ferentes their capita.
They're presenting their high heads.
Yeah, presenting their high heads, literally bearing or carrying their heads high. These bucks were proud because they're carrying their heads high with arboreis cornibus, with tree-like horns, antlers. Anybody who knows anything about hunting, what are you looking for when you're shooting a buck? The more points on the rack of antlers, the bigger the animal was. And therefore, usually the more challenging to actually hunt and kill. And that's what you want to see mounted on your wall.
How is shooting the bigger animal the tougher?
Yeah, it's like
because you have more surface area to
The,
hit.
here's the thing: the big guys, two things. The big guys, if they've gotten old enough to have a rack of antlers that big and to be that developed, that means these guys know how to survive.
Yeah, man, there's
These guys know how to survive. They're faster. They could even conceivably attack you, although typically deer are more skittish just to run. But that's the prize. And Aeneas lays out 3 of these suckers. All right, these are going in the den. All right, these are going in the family room, over the fireplace. Well, I'm telling you, man. I'll tell you what, I'd be mounting those horns to the front of the ship. Right, like the Texans do the Longhorns on the
I
Cadillac.
hate that.
I'd be putting those deer antlers right on the front of the ship.
I hate it too.
Then, after he laid out the leaders, then he attacked the Vulgus.
The commons.
Then he attacked the Vulgus. Interesting way he describes it.
The throng.
The throng, the crowd. This is where we get vulgar. Okay.
Common speak.
And omnem misket. And he misket omnem. He mixes all of them, agains them, or rather agains the turbom, driving the turbom, the crowd, with his tailies, with his, tail is another generic name for armor almost, with his weapons, inter nemora frondia, among the, some kind of forest or grove, frond, among the leafy grove. Okay, if you know anything about deer, one good noise and what happens to the rest of them.
There you go.
These guys are skittish, man, they're gonna run. So he's obviously been very fast. If he was able to take out 3 right away and still be able to get some of the rest of the crowd, but at this point he is literally against them wherever they go. Now he's swinging around, he's shooting in different directions, but he's literally driving them into the grove. So he's hitting some, but he's scattering the rest. And he did not obsist it. You were close. He did not obsist it. He did not stop. Prius quam. This is one word. It's been split up by another word. What do we call this?
Ooh, it's weird.
It's all your ectomy type words.
Nuts.
TM root.
It's like we were like, I know what the example was. I don't know what it was.
Temesis. T-M-E-S-I-S. T-M-E-S-I-S. Temesis is the cutting of one word by one or more other words. Latin does it all the time. English pretty much only does it in profanity.
Remember that.
You guys probably remember the
insult. Yeah.
So prius quam, ante quam, post quam, all those words for before and after. Latin will very often split up by Tmesis. He did not stop before as the victor.
That's the 50.
As the victor. He fundat, there's another great word. He fundat. He pours out on the humi. Septem ingentia corpora. 7, what kind of bodies are carcasses?
Dead.
Mighty, huge, ingentia. Dude just stands there and nails 7 deer. Lays them out, man. Boom, 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 boom. Just pours them out right on the ground. Now this is why you gotta touch it. Just touch it. The heart that he has for his men. Because he iquet the numerum cum novibus. He iquet, make a verb out of it. He equals the numerum
The number.
cum novibus with the
With the
ships.
Ships.
He kills 1 deer for each ship that he has remaining. So each ship is going to have its own entire deer to feast on that night. This is a guy who provides for his men.
Just a chill guy.
I'm telling you,
Why
man.
are you carrying
I
this
would
back?
party with Aeneas.
How'd he carry him back? On his shoulder, man. That's what a Contes is for.
I imagine him as like a little.
Yeah, remember that, sorry, maybe it's, yeah, John's right.
girl, you know?
If a Contes could just go poofies here, maybe there's other guys, maybe there's a, you know, a Chevy pickup or something.
In
You
the
know.
middle.
Well, no, okay, well, Aeneas has got 4. And then
It's a Dodge Ram with a, you know, Cummins turbo diesel, you know, so all these things back to the beach. From here, he portum petit. He seeks the portum. No. Let's get this straight. Porta is gate or door. Portus is harbor
Okay.
or port. Okay.
Portuit.
Porta
that-
would be gate, like portal. Portus is port or harbor.
It seems like, okay, so portus would be like more like masculine, and then portas seems like more feminine.
It is,
That-
they-
I just
they
feel
are.
Like women are like, you know, they're in like the gate or like the doorway to like, the
Domestic.
house, and then like the men would be associated with. This is
With
their
like
thinking, not
business,
mine.
with business.
Would be associated
No,
with
this is
like.
your thing.
Yeah,
If
this
you're
is
rationalizing.
Yeah, there should be.
I
There may
agree
be
with
something
that.
here. I'm waiting. Keep
No,
going.
okay, I'm saying like it's feminine because like back then, you know, like women are in the house, men are outside doing their work, whatever. And so you have like the harbor would be where the men are, so it's like masculine kind of like gateway into like the.
Scoff if you will. I don't think it's a bad hypothesis.
I thought it was right.
I don't think that's a bad hypothesis at all.
Not duct tape,
I
really.
like that. I like that. I like that. I got some Scotch tape. I don't know if it's duct tape, but you know. Okay. All right. There you go. Now he seeks the port, and what does he do? Good leader. He partitur. He divides, implied the deer, among omnes socios,
When all his
among all his comrades, his brothers in arms. Okay? And go ahead and shut it off there, Sam.